Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to another video of ChemSolve. In this video, we will solve Cambridge IGCSE Chemistry Paper 2. That is a multiple choice paper. The code for this paper is 0620/22 Feb March 2025. Okay. Look at the first question. First question says the diagram shows container of the gas at the same temperature. All containers have the same size. Which container contains the gas at the highest pressure? Okay. So when the gas has the highest pressure, it means it would have the reduced volume. The particle will be compressed with each other. So pressure and volume are inversely proportional to each other at constant temperature. So if you see, there is much space between the particles like this, and here there is even more space between the particles, and here the speed between these two particles especially is much more, while here you can see the space between the particle is much less. So I think A is the best option, because in container A the particles are a bit closer to each other as compared to B, C and D. Okay, next question. A cooling curve for a substance is shown. Which statement is correct? Okay. So here this must be a gas. Here it is gas plus liquid. Here it is liquid, and here it is liquid plus solid, and here the substance is solid. If I mark it carefully, then from U to V it is a gas, from V to W it is gas plus liquid both, from W and X it is a liquid, and X to Y it is liquid plus solid, and Y to Z it's a solid. So look at the options. Between U and V, he is talking about this U and V, the substance is condensing. Okay, it is basically coming closer to each other. So maybe this option maybe it is correct. But let's see the other option. Between V and W, heat is absorbed from the surrounding. Okay, so heat is absorbed while it is a cooling curve. It is the heat is being released instead. It is not absorbed. It is 100% wrong. Between W and X, this is W and X, the particles are closer together and randomly arranged. It is more precise and it is more detailed basically. Between W and X, the particles are liquid. So of course they are closer together, yes, and of course they are still randomly arranged. I think C is more appropriate answer. Between Y and Z, it is changing from liquid to solid. No, it is already a solid between Y and Z. Already a solid. So C is the correct option. Sample of the four gases are released in a room temperature at the same time. The gases are carbon dioxide, hydrogen chloride, hydrogen sulfide and nitrogen dioxide. Which gases diffuse fastest? So basically rate of diffusion is indirectly proportional to the molar mass, right? And rate of diffusion is also directly proportional to temperature. But there is no discussion about temperature in this question. So we will consider only molar masses. So let's calculate the molar mass. Molar mass of carbon dioxide is carbon being 12 and oxygen is 16, and there are 2 oxygen. So 16 plus 16, that would be 44. Hydrogen chloride. Hydrogen is 1, chlorine is 35.5. So it would be 36.5. Hydrogen sulfide, H2S. Hydrogen being 1, there are 2 hydrogen. So that would be 2, and sulfur is 32. So it would be 34. Nitrogen dioxide, NO2. Nitrogen is 14 and oxygen is 16. 16 plus 16, that is 32. Plus nitrogen is 14. So that would be 42 and 46. So we have to select the gas which will diffuse fastest. So for fastest gas we need the lesser molar mass, and the lesser molar mass is 4 hydrogen sulfide among these. So I believe C is the correct option. Question number 4. Sulfur atom can form the negative S minus 2 ions. 3 other atoms or ions are listed. How many of these atom or ion have the same electronic configuration as S minus 2? So to look at the same electronic configuration, we actually need if they have same electrons. So let's calculate their electron. Sulfur has 16 atomic number, and minus 2 means 2 electrons have been added to it. So there are total 18 electrons here. Argon also has the 18 electron because its proton number is already 18, right? Calcium has 20 proton number, so it has 20 electron. Oxygen, the proton number or atomic number for oxygen is 8, and 2 electrons are being added to it, so there are total 10 electrons. So it is only argon that is matching with S minus 2. This is 20, this is 10, and we need only 18 electrons. That's why only one argon, it will have the same electronic configuration as S minus 2. So the correct option should be B. It would have the electronic configuration 2, 8 and 8, and it also has 2, 8 and 8. So they are exactly same. While for this it would have 2, 8, 8 and 2. That's why it is not matching it, right? And this, it would have 2, 8 only. It also don't match with the S minus 2. Element T has the 2 isotopes. These, the statement about these isotope is correct. Okay, they have the different chemical properties because they have the different number of neutrons. Chemical properties depend on the electrons only, right? So let's calculate their electrons. This is T12,6, this is T14,6. So number of proton, electron and neutron. Proton is 6, and for this it is also 6. Electron are 6, and for this it is also 6. For neutron we will subtract mass number and proton number. So this is 12 minus 6, 6, and this would be 14 minus 6, it would be 8. Okay, they have the same chemical properties. This is correct because they have the same number of the outer shell electron. It seems to be the correct option, I think. But look at the other one as well. They have the same nucleon number. No, the nucleon number are different. Nucleon number for this it is 12 and for this it is 14. These are the nucleon number. It is incorrect. Because the sum of the number of the proton and electron is the same. No, nucleon number is the sum of the proton number and neutron number. So this is wrong. They have the different position in the periodic table because they have the different number of the neutron. The position in the periodic table do not depend upon the number of neutron. Instead, it depends upon the number of protons. So this is also incorrect. The correct option is B. Question number 6. Lithium is in group 1 of the periodic table. Nitrogen is in group 5 of the periodic table. Lithium reacts to form the ionic compound lithium nitride. What happens to the electron when lithium atom and nitrogen atom form the ions? Of course, it is an ionic bond. Because an ionic bond is formed between a metal and a non-metal, right? So lithium, it is in group 1. That's why it will lose 1 electron and it will form Li positive 1. Nitrogen, it is in group 5. It will gain 3 electron and it will form the charge N minus 3. So each lithium atom loses 1 electron to form Li positive 1, yes. Each lithium atom loses 1 electron to form the lithium positive 1, yes. Each lithium atom gains electron. No, it's a metal, it can't gain electron. So option C and D are shows that hydrogen has 1, 2 and 3 electrons, while hydrogen has only 1 electron. Metallic lattice. Okay, so we are talking about we are talking about the metals. And metals, which formula of the named compound is correct? Okay, let's make the formula. Ca is positive 2 because it is in group 1, group 2. Oxygen is minus 2. They both will cancel out each other and the formula is CaO. I think this is the correct option, but let's look at the other option as well. The charge of cobalt is positive 2 here and chlorine is minus 1. So they will come down like this. The formula would be COCl2. So this is wrong. Sulfur dioxide. Sulfur is 1, dioxide means we have 2 oxygen. So this is sulfur dioxide like this. It is also wrong. Copper sulfate. Copper has positive 2 charge, SO4 is minus 2 charge. So they will be cancel out each other. And the resulting formula would be CuSO4. So this is wrong as well. The correct option is option A. The equation for the reaction of the magnesium with the dilute sulfuric acid is shown. Magnesium sulfate has a molar mass 120. Which mass of the magnesium sulfate is formed when 12 gram of the magnesium completely react with the dilute sulfuric acid? Okay. So what is the ratio here? I'm not going to convert them into mole because I am provided with the mass and the answer is also in the mass. So let's calculate, let's just deal it with the masses. So this is 24 gram here. Okay, we are going to ignore sulfuric acid because it is in excess and nothing to do with the calculation. MgSO4 is 120. Hydrogen is also not included in the calculation. So we just have to compare Mg and MgSO4. So I will write here Mg ratio MgSO4. So if this is 24 and this is 120 gram, so if magnesium is 12, what would be MgSO4? So we will just cross multiply them like this, and it would be 12 multiplied by 120 is equal to 24x. We need only x, so 12 multiplied by 120 divided by 24 is equal to x. 12 ones are 1s and 12 2s are 24. 2 and this would be the 60. So this is the correct option. You can even solve this question without calculation by making the ratio. If 24 gram of the magnesium is producing 120 gram of the MgSO4 and we are halving, we are making it exactly the half of the magnesium. 12 is exactly the half of the magnesium, 24, right? So MgSO4 is also the half of 120, that is 60, because the molar ratio is 1:1. Okay. An organic compound Q contains carbon, hydrogen and oxygen only. Q contains 40% of carbon, 6.7% of hydrogen. And what is the empirical formula of the Q? For this we need the percentage of the oxygen as well. So I will write carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. Carbon is 40, hydrogen is 6.7. So 40 plus 6.7, this is 46.7. 100 minus 46.7, this is 53.3. So oxygen would be 53.3. What is the next step? We will divide them on their molar masses. So for carbon, 40 divided by 12, this is 3.33. 3.33. This would be 6.7 as such. 53.3 divided by 16. This is 3.33 as well. What to do next? We will select the shortest answer, the smallest one, and we will divide it on all. So 3.33 is the smallest one. So we will divide it on all. This is 1, this is 2 and this is 1. So CH2O. That's why the correct option is B. The value of the Avogadro constant is 6.02 10 to the power 23. What is the total number of the atom in 2 mole of the ammonia? Okay, so we have to use the formula of the Avogadro constant here. But first of all, we need to calculate the number of molecules in 2 moles of the ammonia. So number of molecules of ammonia. The formula is mole into Avogadro. Mole is 2, Avogadro is 6.02, 10 raised to power 23. So 6.02 multiplied by 2. This is 12.04. So 12.04, 10 raised to power 23. These are the number of the molecules of the ammonia. Okay, next. One molecule of ammonia has atoms. Okay, so one molecule of the ammonia has 4 atoms, like 1 nitrogen and 3 hydrogen. So this is 4. We have 12.04, 10 raised to power 23 molecules of the ammonia. So how many atoms it would have? 12.04, 10 raised to power 23 multiplied by 4. So let's calculate. This is 48.16. So the answer is 48.16, 10 raised to power 23. But we will move the decimal from here to here. Okay. So this would be 4.8 to 10 raised to power 1, because I move it 1 digit here, and 10 raised to power 23 is already. So 4.8 to 10 raised to power 24. This would be our final answer, and of course the correct option is option C. Okay, next. 3 aqueous solutions, L, M and N, are electrolyzed using the inert electrode. L is concentrated hydrochloric acid, M is concentrated aqueous sodium chloride, N is the dilute aqueous sodium chloride. Which solution produces a pale yellow-green gas? Okay, what is a pale yellow-green gas? Pale yellow-green gas is chlorine. So basically we have to electrolyze all these electrolytes, and then we will see that which one of them is producing chlorine. So it's a lengthy calculation again. Let's solve it here. Concentrated hydrochloric acid. So I will write concentrated hydrochloric acid. So it would have H positive ion from hydrochloric acid, chloride ion, H positive ion from water, and OH negative ion from the water as well. So at a node that is already positive charged, and at a cathode that is negatively charged. Okay, at cathode the positive ion will be attracted, and the positive ions are hydrogen, so there is no problem at all. We will just move hydrogen here. It will be reduced and it will produce H2, right? Okay, so for anode we need to move any positive ions, any negative ion. We have 2 different negative ions, Cl-1 and OH negative 1. So which one of them will go there? Always remember, for concentrated electrolyte we will never use OH negative ion. We will use the other negative ion that is present. So of course chloride ion will go. It will be oxidized. It will lose electron and it will be converted into Cl2. So of course this would be our option. Next is M is concentrated aqueous sodium chloride. Concentrated, let me see this, sodium chloride. So it would have Na positive ion from sodium chloride, Cl negative ion, and from water it would have H positive ion and OH negative ion. Okay. So again at a node that is positively charged and at cathode that is negatively charged. Negative ion will attract any positive. Negative electrode will attract any positive ions. And for positive ion, the rule is very simple. We have to look at the bottom of the reactivity series. Which one of them comes first from the bottom, it will be selected. So of course this will be hydrogen. It will be reduced and will produce H2. While for anode, again it is concentrated. So I just told you we will never consider OH negative ion if the electrolyte is concentrated. Always the other one is selected. So Cl negative, it will lose electron, it will be oxidized and it will produce Cl2. So again N would be our option. Now look at dilute aqueous sodium chloride. The third one is dilute sodium chloride. It would have the same ions as this. So Na positive from sodium chloride, Cl negative one. From water it would have H positive ion and 4 OH negative ion. So at anode that is positively charged and at cathode that is negatively charged. Cathode will attract the positive ion and positive ion we look at the bottom of the reactivity series. So of course H positive will go there. It will be reduced, will produce H2. And if the electrolyte is dilute, then always OH negative ion is being selected, never the other negative ion. So it will go there, will oxidize and will produce oxygen. So N is not producing chlorine. So the correct option are L and M. That's why A is the correct answer for this question, right? Okay, question number 14. Dilute sulfuric acid, again electrolysis question. Dilute sulfuric acid is electrolyzed using the inert electrode. What are the half ionic equations for the reaction that take place at each electrode? So without looking at the option, let's do the electrolysis by ourselves. This is dilute sulfuric acid, so it would have H positive ion from sulfuric acid, SO4 minus 2 ion from the sulfuric acid, H positive ion from water and OH negative ion from water. So at cathode that is negatively charged, positive ion should have to move and the only positive ion we have is hydrogen. So it will be reduced here and it will produce H2. Okay, while for the other one, at anode, that is the positive electrode, it will have to attract a negative ion, and in the case of dilute electrolyte, we always use OH negative ion. So electrode equation will be like this, that we just have done in the case of question number 13 as well. So positive electrode, that is anode, and the negative electrode, that is cathode. Just match them. So cathode is H positive ion. So either this is correct or this is correct, this is incorrect. And anode is 4OH negative. This is incorrect, this is incorrect, this is incorrect, this is correct. So C is the correct option. Question number 15. The statement about hydrogen oxygen fuel cell is correct. They convert chemical energy into electric energy. Of course they do. Hydrogen is reduced in the fuel cell. Basically H2 plus O2, something like this happens. in the hydrogen oxygen fuel cell, right? So hydrogen is not reduced, it is oxidized. This is incorrect. They do not produce any atmospheric pollutant. We just have seen that it is producing only water, no atmospheric pollutant. So this is also correct. Statement 1 and 3 are correct, 2 is incorrect. That's why C is the correct option. Question number 16. The reaction pathway diagram for the reaction between P and Q to form the R, P and Q are the reactant and R is the product is shown, which later represent the enthalpy change for the reaction. Enthalpy change is always R and S is also the product. So these are the product and these are the reactant. Enthalpy change is always between the reactant and the product. So this would be the enthalpy change. This is the reactant and these are the product. So this would be the enthalpy change, right? So the correct option is option C. Again, a lengthy calculation. The equation for the complete combustion of the methane is given. The table shows some bond energies. What is the enthalpy change for this reaction? So we will calculate enthalpy of reactant first. Okay, so CH4, it is basically like this. So it has 4 CH bonds and it has 2 oxygen double bond oxygen bond. 4 CH bond mean 410 multiplied by 4, 2 oxygen double bond oxygen 496 multiplied by 2. 410 multiplied by 4, this is 1640. 496 multiplied by 2, this is 992. Let's add them. Plus 1640, this is 2632. 32. So this is the energy or enthalpy of the reactant. Now calculate enthalpy of product. Okay, so we have C double bond, oxygen is something like this. So we have 2 C double bond O bond and water is something like this. And it is multiplied by 2 as well. So 4 OH bond. Carbon oxygen bond is 805 and oxygen hydrogen bond is 460. So 805 multiplied by 805 multiplied by 2. This is 1610. 460 multiplied by 4. So 460 multiplied by 4, this is 1840. 1610. 1610 plus 1840. 1840. This is 3450. 3450. Okay, so now the last step, that is delta H is equal to delta HR minus delta HP. So delta HR is 2632. Delta HP is 3450. 2632. 2632 minus 3450. 3450. So this is minus 818. Minus 818 kilojoule per mole. So this is our final answer for this question. It matches exactly option B. Okay, question number 18. Which change is the physical change? Cracking of alkane. So what happens cracking of alkane? We actually crack higher alkane into lower alkane and lower alkenes. So a new chemical compound is being formed. That's why it is a chemical change, it is not a physical change. Evaporating of ethanol. So in evaporation, the liquid ethanol is changes into vapors. It do not change its composition, it do not change its chemical substance. So it could be the option. Look at the C and D as well. Fermenting glucose. So glucose is C6H12O6. During fermentation, it changes into ethanol as well as carbon dioxide. Again, a new compound is being formed. So it's a chemical change, not a physical change. Neutralization of the acid. When acid is neutralized, we add base into it and change into salt and water. Again, new compounds are being formed. So it's a chemical change, not a physical change. That's why the correct option is B.